Welcome to another episode of the Gentleman's Motor Racing Team. In this episode we're going to put an electric stack fuel pressure gauge in the Rally Mini. Going to build a aluminium sump guard for the IGNIS for when we do unsealed surface auto testing. We're going to look at the blue book on the bog, but first we're going to watch the start of the Torquay Cows powerboat race. I've got a mate out there who's got two Dodge Viper V10s in the back of his powerboat. It's amazing.
Boy out there.
Oh yeah, it's a monster, isn't it? You fancy a go at that, don't you?
Only as ballast, not
Ballast, not navigator, throttle. Navigator would be alright. Can't be that hard, can it?
No, not that straight.
Yeah, Torquay's that way. Nobody wants to jump the start line. See, that's the thing, isn't it? It's all about timing. Oh, one day we'll have to go. Right, got a rally car to build. There's a space there. There's a space there next to my volt gauge. So, I think that's where I'm going to put it. And what I've done is I've installed everything on super seal clips, like all labelled up. Stuff like this, I just want to do some work on the dashboard. It's all easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, dash is out, and this is my selection of electrical fuel stuff. So this is another faucet pump which I've got with AN6 fittings ready to go. I haven't fitted a super seal on it, so that needs to be done so that it can go in the spares package in case one of those pumps in the car fails. So fuel pressure, I could of course just waz one of them in the system. This is great for push fits, very basic. There's actually nothing wrong with that. I've got a feeling some motorsport don't like you to run these all the time. Don't know why. I think it's because the gauge is fuel pressurized. Could be wrong though, could be wrong. I've got one of these. Again, I picked this up ages ago on eBay. A Race Tech fuel pressure gauge, but this is a mechanical one. So unfortunately what it means is the fuel goes in there, fuel goes up the line into the back of the gauge. And at the time I thought, yeah, that, you know, it was a real bargain. It really was. And I thought, yeah, I'll have that. But then afterwards I realised, well, you know, for example here, if I drill a hole, which is the plan, I'm actually going to have fuel at the back of the dashboard. If that leaks, yeah, anyone that's classic Mini owners that have had an mechanical oil pressure gauge, you know what it's like when that leaks. Oh my goodness, that oil dribbles down and it's mainly disgusting. And if it's on the driver's side, it ends up on your clutch pedal, doesn't it? So again, as I was saying, I picked up a hardly used stack electric fuel pressure gauge. Gorgeous bit of kit, look. Lovely, but of course this is electric, and so that it has a proper sensor on the end that I can put in line somewhere on the AN pipe, and I'm probably going to do that in the engine bay, close, you know, in the engine bay, so that then these wires don't have far to go, and they can just pop into there. So that's the plan. Okay, I'm fairly happy where I want it to be. I'm sure I'll regret it.
You'll regret that.
It's where it's going now. No going back now. So the tool that I'm going to use to cut this hole, you've probably seen me use it before, is this, a proper hole cutter, and it is 52mm. What an investment. It was not cheap, but I've had this probably 10 years now, and it's an absolute dream to use. It really is. All you need to do is cut the pilot hole the same diameter, or yeah, just slightly bigger, I guess. 16mm. Do I have 16mm on my stepper? I do have 16mm on my stepper drill bit. Don't go too big now. If you can actually get a hole saw out of 52mm, I'm sure it'll be fine. But I've never owned one. So I've either had to drill it out to roughly the right size and then file it, or do the whole thing where you mark it out and then you make lots of drill holes and then you file. Oh, what a faff. This, on the other hand, it's not. There you go, there's the cutting bit in there. It's got basically 3 cutting blades and a cup receptacle, let's call it that. That's an imperial size, and that's why why have I got that in there rather than a socket? I don't know. It's designed for a an Allen key to go in there, and for some reason that I can't remember, I put the head of a bolt in there. Why would I have done that? I don't know. I've got it, I might as well use it. Let's use me Mac Tools Impact.
Mac.
Oh, that's on low setting, that's nice. My goodness, look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? No sharp edges, nothing to file, just ready to go. Ready for some sort of art project, that is. Like a glove. Bit of Pudding's Fab Shop.
That's what we got to do this week, guys.
Lovely. Look at that for a bit of info. So this is my sender, this is my sensor, and that's my, my adapter, whatever you want to call it. So fuel now comes out through the bulkhead into the Weber. Now, this is quite it's only big because I've made this big ass boot on it, isn't it? So I could have it going that way, but that takes the electric a bit close to the carb. I could have it that way, sort of tucking under there. But I'm thinking, I know it's going to be a bit weird, but I'm going to kind of send it to the back of the air box so the electrics can go up and along the top. Not perfect. All this stuff was seemed like a good idea at the time to have all this, because obviously this drops down behind the passenger, in the passenger footwell. That's brake to what was the servo, which is no longer there, and then it would come back out and work its way along and then round. This is the fire suppression system. That was for the servo, which I now don't run, the vacuum from there to there. And I think this is an extra. I put that in there in case I wanted to run something through here in an emergency, in like a bodge job type thing. So at least there was a proper hole to be able to pass something through. So I'm going to reconfigure the brakes, eventually. Obviously that's now redundant. I could shift that. I could easily put that fire system somewhere else, maybe bring it in through here. It all needs tidying up. It's all jobs for the future, isn't it? I'm going to make a video on it, to be honest. So for just to get this thing up and running, I'm going to do it a bit like that. Right, I haven't got my tripod, so this is going to be interesting to film. It might just be a bunch of stills. Sorry about that. Right, it's been a few days. I can't find my black AN6 spanner, and even if I did, it wouldn't help me grip the bottom of that AN6 fitting. So I've had to make myself a custom spanner. thoroughly enjoyed doing that. It took me probably an hour and a half. I haven't made a spanner from scratch since I was at college, and I really enjoyed the process, and I'm really pleased with the result as well. And I've got myself a brand new spanner. Right, the reason I need a brand new spanner or a custom spanner is I couldn't get, so this fitting down here is a bulkhead fitting, and the problem is that rotates. If I try and undo this one here, that base nut rotates, which is not good, so I needed to hold it. And of course, as you can see, I can, if I put a spanner on there, A, it doesn't go on there flat, and B, it won't actually, it grips the bit that I need to rotate, so it's no good. So yeah, so I made this little beauty up, which, come on, during mock up, here we go, grips it just right. So in theory, now I haven't tried this out, but it should, in theory, work. Come on, do your stuff. Yeah, look at that. Lovely jubbly. Now all of this I'm going to change, all of it. I'm going to change where the brake pipes go, I'm going to change where the fire extinguisher pipe goes. More than likely, I'm going to change where the fuel line goes. Well, I don't know. I'm quite happy with the fuel line, to be honest. So that, yeah, I do. I keep looking around the engine bay when I should be actually paying attention to doing this. I'm looking for my other spanner. Focus, Kevin. Come on, one job at a time. I could drill a hole, because that's pretty much where the gauge is, just there. Don't want to do that. I've got a long enough cable. I only want one hole in the bulkhead. There it is there, look. See that sandwich plate? So I'm just gonna route it along the top, in through the bottom of the dash, towards the gauge. You can never have enough space, can you, in your workshop? I had a choice of tools, like an endless supply of workshop tools, or room. I think I'd go for, you know, space every time, because, oh. Right, cable that, tie that lot up there, will be good. Okay, I'm going to sign you off on that one. You don't want to see me cable tie, do you? Of course not. Not all motorsport requires arches and guards, but when Motorsport UK insists that they do, they must be at least 60 degrees either side of the centre of the hub. And when you look at the tyre from above while it's in the straight ahead position, you shouldn't be able to see the tread. So, I've got all my wire. This were, which one is it? There we go. This one is the power and all the other gizmos for the fuel gauge. And say the beauty of having all these is, I know it looks a bit complicated and a bit of an arse, but it means that I can take the dashboard away, cut more holes in it if I need to. Although it is kind of getting to the point where I should have rip all these off and do one big connector. What's next? I don't really know. I think I'm just going to turn the power on and see what happens. Oh, well, that's not good. Why did nothing? Oh shit. Why did that gauge not? Uh-oh. Oh no. What have I done, Kev? What have you done? There's power in the battery. Yeah. I loosened up Come on, Kev, you can work it out. Right. I just so you know, maybe you know, maybe you don't know. What I've done is I've divided my electrics up into 2 sections, or 3 sections actually. So I've got fuse box 1. Now fuse box 1 is everything that should run when the main power is on. Fuse box 2 and 3 work when the ignition is on. And how I've done that is I've got a big relay here. So effectively when you turn the ignition on, that relay then takes power and feeds fuse box 2 and 3. Makes sense, hopefully. So yeah, things that I've got wired up to fuse box 1 are lights. We've got those. Reversing light, heater, believe it or not. The timer, because the timer might have to keep running even when we've got the ignition turned off. Hazards, no brainer, don't you? You need to have those on. So I need to do some diagnostics, and one of my favorite diagnostic tools is one of these, a 12-volt probe. To make this work, you need to add a 12-volt and a negative supply from the car to it. And what I've done down here, I love my super seals. So this is permanently here. This is goes to the positive and negative on our posts. So if I click this in, listen to the noise, there it goes. I've now got positive and negative. So if I put it to something that's negative on the car, say this bolt here, I get a green light that says that's negative. That's connected to the negative side of the battery. If I stick it in here, there we go, flashes red. That tells me that that's positive and live. So you can go around the car. Here we go, this is my negative post in here. Extra bonus is if I want to test a piece of kit, I can actually make this probe on the end positive or negative by flicking this rocker switch here. So if I flick it up to positive, now the end of that post is positive. If I rock it down, it makes the end of that probe negative. So if I wanted to power something up, I can do it that, you know, just by pressing it and doing it. I'm not going to randomly do stuff. But yeah, so that way I can work out if the thing is not working because it's got a bad earth or a bad positive. Fantastic bit of kit, it really is. It also has attached to it an extra tail, which is always negative. So you can basically bench test something then. So you can put, so if I take it off the car, I can actually clip that to the negative terminal on the motor, for example, stick that on the positive, give it a thing, and then we can bench test it. It's great, really nice bit of kit, not that expensive. Carry it with me everywhere, and basically all my project cars have got this. I've even got an extension so I can go and test the trailer lights as well. So ignition is on, so in theory fuse box 2 should be live. It's not. It's not. Fuse box 3 is not. There you go, from key auxiliary. So the power to the relay is working. The negative from the relay is working. I've done such a good job of getting that in there, I can't. So let me give you an example. I can bench test my relay. Let's put a negative on one side of the trigger, positive on the other side of the trigger. Let's give it some juice. Can you hear it? Yeah, nothing wrong with that relay. Oh, it's working anyway. It's triggering. I'd have to have a sensor on top and bottom to actually see if it is. Which one's which? Top and bottom. Okay, there's power there. Oh. Power there. No power there. So what's the bottom one? The bottom one is, that's why you label stuff, people. Fuse box 2 and 3. So what I'm going to do then, I'm going to add power to fuse box 2 and 3 and see if my rev counter fires up. No. Is that a cable that's just popped off when I've been cocking it? It is. There it is, look. Is that fuse box 2 and 3? Let's refit my relay. There we go. Simple as that. While I was opening the drawer to wire this up, I'd obviously disconnected that by accident. Didn't really need the tool, but I'm glad you've seen it now. It is my favourite tool, electrical diagnostic tool. Maybe if I just opened my eyes, I would have seen that. Right, let's crack on. What I don't like about all this is there's so much flipping wiring. When I built this car, I wanted to go for, you know, the PDM type stuff. It's very expensive, and lots of people said to me, Kev, don't do it. Oh, me knees, I'm getting old. They were saying don't do it because what if it breaks down, you know, when you're at an event, how you going to fix it? You know, you can't do what I've just done because it's a computer. But now, lots of those people that told me not to do it are saying, no, they're really good. I've used them now. I've wired a car up in them and they're amazing. So it is a plan to rip out all the wiring in this Mini again. I know. And yeah, and fit a modern PDM system. Just because this is a bit archaic. I know it's a classic Mini and it should have classic wiring maybe, but hey, it's a project as well, isn't it? Can always rewire it and do it back as a standard. I like a wiring project. Right, anyway, where were we? When I turn the fuel pressure gauge on, it doesn't do anything. So I'm guessing it won't do anything until we turn the pump on. Quick tidy up. Everyone likes a tidy up. Apart from Matt Green. Tidy workstation, tidy mind, can prioritise my thinking. Let's get the bonnet off. Right, as I've said, I don't really like where it is. I don't like it at all. It's the only place that I seem to be able to fit it. But again, all of this is going to get ripped out and I'm going to do something different. And quite possibly, I might end up putting this sensor in the boot, but we'll see. Let's get some rag just in case. When I say rag, I mean tea towel from the kitchen. Right then, you watch that. If you see any leaks, let me know. Power is on. Ignition is on. Here we go, let's fire up the fuel pump. Tell me if you see any leaks. I can hear things. Well, there's no leaks, but also I've got no pressure, or at least the gauge is telling me I've got no pressure. So what does that mean? Do I have an air leak? Sorry. An airlock? I don't think you do. I don't think you can get an airlock, can you? I don't think that's moved at all. Well, there's a couple of issues. Maybe my fuel pressure gauge was really cheap on eBay because it doesn't work. See, this is one of my biggest fears of having an overcomplicated car. more to go wrong, isn't it? The other thing is I could adjust the pressure on the regulator and see if that adjusts it up at that end, you know, actually makes it move. Or I could take the sensor off and put the old fashioned glass one on. The process of elimination, isn't it? Bugger and arse. I need some thinking time. I'm going to turn the car off, I'm going to turn you off, have a brew and come back. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank our patrons. Their support is so appreciated as it helps support the channel in so many different ways. If you'd like to be kept bang up to date with current projects and events, see additional behind the scenes footage, and effectively be a virtual member of the team, then maybe consider becoming a patron yourself. Pop over to our Patreon page and check it out. There's plenty to see, even without signing up. Again, thank you so much. Your support is hugely appreciated. A project I've wanted to do a long time on the IGNIS is improve the sump guard. I don't know if you remember watching one of our old videos where I made one out of mild steel. Gee whiz, did that weigh a lot. Not only did it weigh a lot, the angle of attack was really bad. So that's as far as I can get. It's one bolt at the front and one bolt at the back. Not ideal, but it gives me more clearance and I've saved some weight. I've still got to make these brackets to go from here down to here, but I don't think the neighbours are going to like me drilling and bashing at this time of evening, so as always, it's just not enough time to do your projects. I just hope it doesn't fall off. Right, welcome to another episode of the Gentleman's Motor Racing Team. Yes, we are auto testing again in the IGNIS. Sorry for getting bored of this. But we are at K-Night Sandpit here on the Isle of Wight. It's an amazing venue, genuinely brutal on the cars. We've had, I don't know, 4 cars stuck in the sand today, 1 car written off, although they are spannering very hard. A couple of breakdowns. I almost rolled this car with my dad in it. We got it airborne apparently. One of the spectators went, yeah, genuine, you had all 4 wheels off the ground. Motorsport for 20 quid, you really can't do it any better than this. All's going on. So I need to, so Dad's on the start line, we all take it in turns with marshalling duties. So I need to find myself a passenger. Sue's got comedy value. Sue, fancy being a passenger?
Alright, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the third time today. I'll quickly grab my helmet.
Excellent. So yeah, in auto testing, you can either go as a solo driver, which is, you know, drive on your own, or as a PCA. Now, a PCA means that you must have a passenger for each run. It's great because A, it's so much fun to have a passenger. Yes, you're going to be slightly slower because you've got that extra weight, but also you take it in turns. So what, you know, you can be a driver, you can be a passenger, and you get to see the circuit more. So you learn how it evolves and racing lines and things like that. Genuinely, PCA, it's the one to go for.
We're gonna have to tow it.
Who's got the rope?
now?
It's the Clio.
Cleo? They were trying to kill that.
That's a breakdown.
Just count as a time.
Go on, tell us the story. Why's she on the ramps?
Exhaust. We were trying to give Wayne something to do today.
It sounded amazing going around. It sounded like a Star Wars pod racer.
And it went amazing, but yeah.
That's good, doing slower there was better.
First outing with the new sump guard. The whole reason for changing it was for this venue, and to be honest I don't think I've heard it hit the floor yet, so I'm very pleased with that. The other one made an almighty clang at the bottom of the ramp. It's been good, isn't it, this new sump guard? I think it's fine.
Yeah,
It was worth doing that. Right. It's a good car. How's the MX-5 going around the course?
It's a bit drifty.
It's gonna rain, it's gonna rain.
He's gonna have a wet run, you're gonna have a dry one.
Yeah, get out there before it starts raining. two trying to like psych each other out by being nice to each other.
A fuel pump change.
No way.
Yeah. Luckily, a couple of guys had a spare. Well, they went back and got a spare fuel pump. I just changed it over. I'm hoping.
But that's what it was.
Yeah.
That was so cool, Barry! Blimey! No, there's no way I could do that. That was good!
How'd you get on, mate? Do you know?
120, 20 I think it was.
What does that mean? You don't know? Wayne was behind you, of course.
Yeah.
So you haven't seen what he put in?
Don't know what he's going to put
Oh,
in. The wet might give him a little bit more grip, you know.
we were discussing that. So you enjoy going out with Dad then?
Oh yeah! Oh, he was so good. It's like really controlled, you know. I remember when he started and how he is now, and he's like I was shocked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dad has improved so much.
Around there, every corner, handbrake, handbrake. Yeah, he has. He was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought, right, I'll go out, and then I got stuck in the sand.
So you tried too hard.
Yeah.
You're going to have to pull it out backwards, I reckon. I've got an eye for it. Okay, you have to put it backwards.
Nice work, Sue.
Susie, because she's in too deep and inside. Come on, Sue.
Oh, that's impressive.
God.
Right, put the rope on, he thinks it'll do it.
Whoa! Well done, everyone. Sometimes just stopping, gathering your thoughts, having a cup of coffee is the right answer, because while I was slurping on my coffee, I was getting the spanners ready to adjust the pressure regulator at the back on the Filter King. But I was slurping on my coffee, I went, when you did the initial diagnostics why this lot wasn't working, I'm sure you disconnected that gauge to make sure the gauge wasn't the reason that it all shorted out. Fuel, pressure, power, maybe that's why the gauge isn't working. Oh, sometimes, Kevin, sometimes. There you go. Let's put it back together and see what happens now. It moved. Of course, because it's a stepper motor, isn't it? Oh, look at that! Oh, I'm so pleased that I managed to A, work it out, and B, I haven't bought a Duff pressure gauge. There we go. Interesting. Oh, of course it goes back to 3 because it's got 3 psi in the pipe, hasn't it? It's under pressure. So pleased. Right, only one thing to do, and that's to go for a test drive, and I'm going to do that tomorrow.